Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is part 2 of the snippet of Denki and Kairi's life. Enjoy. The chaos, questions, and celebrating that followed for the next hour was beautiful, as fears, excitement, and plans all rolled into one, until both Denki and Kairi ended up just abandoning all other emotions and just crying together instead. Kairi's pregnancy was a smooth one, thankfully. Denki would have lost a ton of hair from stress had it been a rough time. He was already a careful and thoughtful boyfriend, well, as much as was possible for him, but he became really overprotective and concerned, calling her on his lunch breaks to make sure that she was eating well and feeling well, texting before he was due to come home to make sure she knew that he was coming, and everything else that he could think of to help remind her that he was 100% there for her and she didn't need to worry about a thing. Kairi really appreciated this and gushed about how good he was daily, making her colleagues jealous with the amount of care he put into everything. "Hey, what's for lunch today?" Kairi's colleague asked her one lunch break in the staff room as she entered with her pregnant belly on show in a tight-fitting maternity black dress. Kairi was carrying 2 lunch boxes, one larger one and one little one, and the women there stopped curiously to see first of all why she had 2 lunch boxes and secondly what was in them. "They're both for me," Kairi stated as she sat down in one of the chairs there, having felt the questions about the lunchboxes. "Denk said he made one for me and one for Bubs," she said with a little chuckle and playful eye roll. "God, he's too much, isn't he?" another joked. "What's inside? Let us see." "Yeah, open the baby one first," another piped up, scooting in closer to have a look. Kairi popped the lid open of the baby-sized lunchbox, and there was a mix of squeals and groans from the onlookers. Kairi just looked smug. "I knew it." "Where did you find this man? Has he got a friend for me?" one girl asked. "He's even cut the sandwiches into heart shapes. Check out the star-shaped biscuits," another commented. "Yeah, they're homemade. He made them," Kairi said with a proud smile. Another round of jealous groaning.
Of course he did something.
Ugh, of course he did. Is there anything this man's bad at? He's an amazing partner, he cooks. He's a hero, and he's cute as all get out. "God, how'd you get him, Kairi? What's your secret?" one of the older, cheekier women asked. Shouted at him and then ignored him, Kairi laughed. "Well, they say treat him mean, keep him keen," another added. "Wait, is that a little note?" one girl asked, reaching into the baby's lunchbox and picking out a small piece of paper with something written on it. "I made the star biscuits because you're my star," she read. Another groan erupted and Kairi burst into a fit of giggles. "He spelled 'you're' wrong," the girl who read the message said. "It's the only fault I could find in him." Kairi was in a fit of giggles. She was on cloud 9. She had the best man in the world, and the jealousy from the other girls just made her even happier. She was content. Finally, the fated day came, 2 days before the due date. Denki had just gotten home and, as was his usual custom, had gotten down on his knees to kiss Kairi's belly hello first, before standing up to give her a kiss on the lips. "How are my babies today?" he asked, referring to both Kairi and the little one inside her. I've been a little crampy and twitchy today," she said with a grimace. "Just a few little niggles here and there, nothing major, but still annoying," she said. "Well, Daddy's home now, so sit down and give orders," he said with a giant grin. "I've got this. I'm Genie Denki today. What are your 3 wishes, Mama?" "Only 3? she teased. "Oh, well, I'm an easily persuaded genie, so I can go to 10 or 20. I'm easy. You want 100? You got it, baby." Kairi chuckled as she sat down, slowly easing herself into a chair with her hips pushed right back to counterbalance her belly out front. "I think I just need a bit of a back massage," she said, placing one hand on her back and trying to stretch up. "Let me soothe it for you," he said, quickly walking around behind her and instructing her to lean forwards a bit. With a little direction from Kairi, Denki had it under control and was doing his best to press on the spots that were giving her the most grief. "It feels so good," she said with a relieved sigh. "It's stopped the cramping I'm feeling in my... Her groan interrupted her sentence, and she had to stop talking for a second. Denki paused and waited for her, feeling a little uneasy about these so-called cramps. Do you think you're in labour?" he asked once she'd gotten over that cramp. "But I'm not due till Thursday," she replied, panting a little and wiping a small amount of sweat from her forehead. Yeah, I know, but maybe we should call the doctor just to see what he says," Denki asked. You stay there, okay, babe? I'll call him. A short phone call later and the pair were suddenly in the car and headed to the hospital. Whoa, it's today. It's today. I can't believe it's today. It's happening. Whoa. Denki, focus on the road! Kairi snapped, bringing Denki back to the present as he had wandered off down Daydream Lane hand in hand with all of his excitement about the future. Oh, yeah, I'm on it. Daddy Denki to the rescue, he said proudly, making the last final turns into the hospital grounds. Labour was long and tiresome for poor Kairi. Denki was trying his best to be helpful, but in the end was forced to watch from the corner of the room since he was getting in the way of the nurses, doctors and support crew, who were all doing their best to keep Kairi stable. Her body was struggling a little with delivery, and her blood pressure was dropping quickly, which was also impacting the baby. Tension started running high the closer she was getting to delivery, and Denki was sweating bullets, really feeling the pressure from where he was frozen in the corner. It felt like an eternity before the head obstetrician pulled the little baby from Kairi, and the room of people went into a tizzy. Some rushed to Kairi, others rushed to the baby, and Denki was left there still biting his nails on the sidelines. Kai, are you okay? He called nervously over the heads of the nurses who were all yelling orders at each other. Kate, stat? One asked. 90/50, the nurse named Kate replied. Can we get a stat reading? Oh, oxygen mask, please, the same nurse who seemed to be running the show called. Here, another called, passing a mask to the first nurse. Miss Lynn, honey, stay with us, one of the other nurses said, who was holding her hand. Come now, you've had a beautiful baby. Do you want to know what you had? Denki's petrified eyes jumped from his beautiful fiancée to the small incubator that had other senior nurses huddled around it. Take her to the neonatal, one of the nurses said, and another nodded and started pushing the little baby trolley to the door of the birthing unit. Wait, where are you taking my girl? That's my girl, right? She's mine. Please, where? Hero Chargebolt, we need to make sure your little one is in good health, as she's had a bit of an ordeal coming into this world. She'll be just fine, don't worry, the head midwife said in a strict yet calm voice. Come, we need you to keep your lovely Kairi stable. And she took Denki by the arm and led him back to Kairi's bedside, pushing some of the nurses aside so he could get in there to his girl. Kairi looked drained, her eyes glazed and unfocused, and tears welled up in his eyes. Hey, stay with me, okay? You're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, he said, his hand shaking as he reached for hers. This had been as hard on him as it had been on her. He had no idea what was going on, but he was now scared he was going to lose both of his girls in one go. Please, I love you, he whispered out to her. 3, 2, 1, Denki called, uncovering his eyes and grinning from ear to ear as he looked down the empty hall. Here I come, ready or not. Loudly he stomped a foot on the floor and paused, before stomping the next foot and moving forwards. He heard a little giggle, and he let his ears guide him. She's in the kitchen, he thought as he crept a little closer to the door and then stomped his foot again. He heard a small rustle from the kitchen, and then pattering feet from the other side of the hall, coming from the lounge room, and he stopped. Hang on, wait, how? His brows furrowed with confusion. How did I hear her in the kitchen, but now she's in the lounge room? Daddy, gotcha! A little voice could be heard behind him. He whipped around to see his daughter standing behind him in the hallway, and he nearly hit the roof. How did you get there? He shrieked with surprise. She fell apart laughing. You're so funny, Daddy. I love playing with you, she said in her bubbly little voice. Just then, Kairi called out from the front door. I'm home, she sung as she walked in, a bundle of shopping bags hooked over shoulders and wrists. Mummy! Little Renji shouted, running past her daddy to get to Mum. Why is there a pipe here? Kairi asked as she stopped and looked at the cylindrical object in the hallway floor that was linking the kitchen to the lounge room. I used it to talk to Daddy, Renji divulged excitedly. I tricked him into thinking I was in the kitchen by laughing into it, and then I was really in the lounge room. Kairi laughed as a very bamboozled Denki walked in. I've told you not to play games with her, Daddy. She just gets smarter and smarter each time, Kairi chuckled. I got an email from the doctor today that said she's operating on a level that's 3 ages above where she is now. She's 2 years old now, but she's operating on an age 5 level, Kairi said. Ah, that's my smart little girl. You get that from your daddy, hey? Denki teased, ruffling Renji's blonde hair as she stood beside him. Yep, you're the bestest daddy and smartest daddy I know, Renji replied without skipping a beat. That's my girl, Denki said proudly before taking the shopping bags from Kairi. Here, baby, let me pack those away for you. Oh, thanks, Denk, Kairi said, helping to shrug the bags off onto his hands. Once Denki had taken the shopping bags and had walked away, Renji turned to her mum and beckoned her to lean down so she could whisper in her ear. Is it bad that I told Daddy a lie just now? She asked, half proud of herself, half sad. No, baby, Kairi chuckled softly. We both need to protect Daddy. You know how he is. Renji hummed with a smile. But he's still the bestest daddy I know. That one's super true. And there you have some little snippets of life with Denki, Kairi, and their little girl Renji. Renji was just a little baby when Kairi and Denki had their wedding, so she was sleeping in Denki's mum's arms during the wedding, and that's why she didn't feature there. And although physically Renji is a lot younger than Jinichi and Soshi, she is extremely smart for her age and thus was put ahead and got into UA same time as the trio of hero kids in the BNHA second generation book. But anyway, that solves that. Stay tuned for a special one-shot coming tomorrow. See you then.